Hello, just wanted to tell somebody that maybe you're going through some of the things you're going through because maybe you're being chastised by God. Maybe God is trying to get your attention in some areas or just your attention at all. In Hebrews chapter 12, verse 6, it says that God chastened who he loved. And some say punished, and some of the Bible say chastened. And remember when we were coming up, those of us who had parents, parents back then would chasten their kids or chastise their kids when they were not doing right. And I'm not talking about abusive parents, the ones beating their kids and just mistreating them. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about good parents who are trying to teach their children right from wrong. And back then, you know, they were still doing what they were taught to do. They came from, a lot of them came from slavery or their ancestors, so they were still using belts and stuff because that's the stuff that was used on them. You know, courts and stuff. They was using things that they were used on to make them line up, you know, our ancestors and stuff. And so that just went from generation to generation. So some parents really probably didn't even mean to be abusive. I'm not even sure. But anyway, I want you to know that God chastises those that he loves. So some people going through what they're going through because they just should decide not to listen. They decide not to listen. They decide not to listen. So God got to keep on chastising you and popping on you in the spirit because you just won't listen. You won't listen. You won't listen. And we're not in a day and time now where, you know how we make promises to God. You say, God, well, if you do this, God, I'll do that. Time out for that. You obey God, we obey God, and God decides to bless us in that way, then God will. God ain't got to do no extra performances for us. We already know that God is God and God is real. So we have to be obedient, and then God can decide to bless us. And I understand God reigns on the just as well as the unjust. But I'm talking about God wants to save some souls. God wants to help you have a life and have it more abundantly, a little more joy and some peace. You know, and it's sad too. Many of us get up for work or have to get up on our work day and be dreading to get up for work. Do we not really understand that one day you won't get up for work no more? You won't get up and face this world no more at all? So try not to dread. Try to, you know, encourage yourself, pray over yourself, speak over yourself. You know, don't let the enemy make you feel full of dread when you get up in the morning. Because remember, the day you feeling dread and dragging ourselves along, because I'm going to say me too, because some days I be kind of have to push myself along. Somebody died, and they're not getting up for work. They're not going to work. So, and we know we're not even fit to die. Most people are not even ready to go to meet the Lord. You ain't ready to leave here. So a lot of fruits of the Spirit still have to be wrought. You know, a lot of things have to be done within ourselves. Because if you get mad, still cussing in your mind, even if you ain't cussing outside your mouth, there's still some work that got to be done. We got intelligent brains. And so cuss words and how we got to express ourselves. So also, I want you to be encouraged and being inspired. And just know it could be that you're being chastised by God. Only you know if you've been chastised by God, you know, because God knows what we know and we don't know. So sometimes people getting chastised and getting chastised and getting chastised because you're making it the way that you want to go. You're making that your choice. But anyway, be encouraged and be inspired, and just keep in mind and just sit back and think about it. Do you think God trying to get your attention? Or for some people, it's just your faith is being tested for some people. And for some people, it is just that God trying to get your attention. And do you know which one you are? And if you don't, sit back and look at your life. That'll give you a good idea. I'm talking about your attributes, the things you do and the things you say. That'll give you a good idea which one you are. And no one is the walking arrived in the land, but you know if you're doing better. And you know if you're walking and doing your best to please God. You know if you're that individual. Because God give us grace, and his mercy is sufficient for us all. So just be blessed, be encouraged, and be inspired, and prayerfully, each of us start listening to God more. Prayerfully, each of us will trust God more. Prayerfully, each of us will be consistent more. Prayerfully, that we'll tell somebody else about the goodness of God. And prayerfully, we'll hold on with everything we got. Be blessed.